What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's take it back a few weeks. Talk about this new record from Kaidi Tatham entitled Don't Rush the Process. That was released on July 15th. This is his fourth solo outing and his follow-up to 2021's An Insight to All Minds. The man also just dropped his Galaxy EP last month. He stays incredibly busy, always working on something. But it wasn't until recent, really, within like the last 4 or 5 years, it seems, that he started putting more focus on his solo career. And I think that's a good move. I think that in this day and age, especially, it gives him more visibility. And I bring this up because this guy's been around for a while. And I heard about him back in 2005 when I was living in Ireland. I drifted up to Belfast one weekend, great party city. I met this really nice girl, and I proceeded to dip back a few more times to hang out with her, but she was really into this guy and his collaborations at the time, and that's how. And I'll level with you. I can't even remember what I was listening to because this was like 16 years ago. I was partying quite a bit. But I remember listening to him, and I remember being really into him. I remember mentioning to her that I was starting to get into funk and jazz and hip hop, and just starting to generally branch outside of rock and roll. And this was one of the first artists that she showed me, and so. All these years later, it's really cool to see the way that he has sort of kind of like drifted in and out of my vision. Because, with a guy like this and all the collaborations and with the lack of coverage and with the way the internet has developed, it's so much easier now to keep track of the collaborative efforts, to follow up with people and what they're doing, when new music is coming out. And this guy, it's still pretty hard to find information on him. But if you're not familiar with him, what he does is incredible. His production quality is outstanding. This record from start to finish has such a good feel, but instrumental, working with a bass of jazz and basically world percussion. I love that this thing, I read one thing that it said this is a clinic on percussion, and I agree 100%. The percussion on this record is absolutely outstanding, but the compositions and the different instrumentation that he works into them, the different movements that these songs have, he's just so much fun to listen to, always bending your mind, always just challenging what we think music can be and recreating that idea, just pushing the boundaries. And I love that. And doing it with stuff that is very familiar to all of us. You have elements of classic pop and jazz and hip hop and so much else that's going on in this record. But the way he brings it all together, he's marvelous. You watch him live, and there's some cool things that you can pull up on YouTube. There's one really good video in particular that I'll put a link up there for. But you see this guy, and he gets into the studio and he gets into a groove, and he's amazing to watch. So I definitely would recommend checking out this record and checking him out in general if you're not familiar with him. And I'm still not that familiar with his catalog. Again, throughout the years, as he's worked on collaborations and with just the lack of coverage. You basically, up until very recently, still had to rely on magazines and specific websites and, limited as far as your resources and your ability to find music from a guy like this, because he is still relatively obscure. He's pretty well known in the UK, but I don't know too many people in the States that know of this guy. So please check him out. You're going to love his music. Just a marvelous instrumental experience here. For the most part, there's some small vocal elements here, but this is the type of record that I've been listening to this thing in the morning and really just enjoyed it at that time of day. But there's definitely enough upbeat stuff on this album where if you want to listen in the evening, it would make for great dinner music, great just kind of like mellow party music. I love this guy. I'm really excited to talk about this record. Mystery Solved is your first track. It's got this classic pop orchestration that opens up the album for about 2 minutes. Really just a nice feel that moves right into Don't Rush the Process. The title track's got this beautiful jazz piano in the intro. I love the way that this kicks into this just light, funky jam. And there's all these different breakdowns as the song progresses. And this is a track that draws on everything. This is a really fine composition that perfectly demonstrates his ability to work in so many different elements and make it sound so organic, just like everything should be there. I marvel at it. I'm kind of almost at a loss for words, just trying to describe the complexity, but the approachable nature of this guy's music. Just Not Right Rudy is your third song. Ambient, minimal piano, lots of bright harp and synth, and this guy, he's a killer on the wind instruments as well. Great multi-instrumentalist, and I love the tone of this song, the way it kind of just pulls back, because Don't Rush is a pretty big affair there. All I Need, your 4-track hip-hop driven thick bass, excuse me. You get this cool repeated vocal as well, and a shorter track. And there's definitely a handful of those on this album, but I like the way that they work in. And I mean, this album really is built in a way. All of these songs, you need to listen to this thing from start to finish. I mean, as well as these songs hold up on their own, I really feel like they just all come together perfectly like pieces to a puzzle. We Chillin' Out, your fifth song, has got this funky rockin' piano. This, honestly, this song reminds me of Chicago. Really was immediately what I thought of. But this song, it takes an interesting turn around 3:30. My one criticism of this song is that it's pretty long, and I like the jam. I like that piano riff. But I feel like this turn that comes about 3.5 minutes into the song should have come a little sooner. I feel like, for as well as he, can provide fun twists and turns in a composition, this song is kind of lacking that. And, it's my only criticism of this record, honestly, is I would have maybe liked to have seen a little more adventure in the construction of the song. But other than that, it's pretty rocking and I love it. Knock Knee Donkey is your sixth track. I love this song. Like contemporary jazz in the open. Got this synth as well in the lead there. And then the bass moves in to take over. And the way that this song comes together it's just pure magic. I love listening to this track. Any Flavor, your seventh song. It's got this, I love the percussion, conga driven, and then jazz piano, just really bringing some nice elements together. And again, to just emphasize how incredible the percussion is on this record, it's marvelous. Funky Fool, your eighth song, solid beat, funky intermittent bass. You get this great synth that carries the song as well. Cool track as well. Soritama is your ninth song. Great adventurous blend of funk and jazz. Really just love the pace of this record coming into these tracks. Running True, your 10th track, ambient. This is like, this song, it feels a little different than a lot of other stuff, but showing you, his ability to branch out and work with so many different elements. And we got it. Let's be real. The UK scene. And when I was going up there, I was spending a lot of time in the clubs, and he's working with art. He's working with jazz artists. He's working with hip hop artists, electro artists. This guy does everything. He's, like I said, he's just incredible. What a Dream is your penultimate track. It's got this great world feel, kind of a quick affair. It's like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but just really locks this thing up, gives you your outro into Mind Yourself. And I mean, I did 12 songs, 34 minutes. This thing is pretty much just everything that I want in a record. Such a fun experience, so much going on, rich textures that are going to give you something to enjoy time and time again for just years of listening. I feel like this is an excellent album. Get into this guy if you're not familiar with him. We're going to vinyl please this thing, and I'll post a link for his Bandcamp site as well, so you can dip onto there and pick this up if you desire to do so. But I hope you find this review helpful. I hope you enjoy this record as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.